the Unitarian Universalist Fellowship of Elkhart, a welcoming community encouraging religious freedom, nurturing individual, spiritual, and ethical growth, celebrating diversity, and promoting a just and sustainable world. My name is Ken Claiborne, and I'm a member of the board of this congregation. We'd like to welcome you all to this virtual service this morning. Thank you.
Hello, friends, and welcome to this service of the Unitarian Universalist Fellowship of Elkhart, Indiana on this Jazz Festival weekend in June of 2021. I'm Patty French. I'm a member of this congregation, and I'm so happy to have you join us for this special service. This is a time each year when we combine our living, evolving Unitarian Universalist faith with the living, evolving tradition of jazz. Today's music is provided by the French Quarter, Chris French on tenor sax and clarinet, Marian Emery on piano, Daryl Teitelbach on bass, and Jim Catalano on drums. These four musicians each bring a creative vision, a wealth of ideas to share. And as if that weren't enough, we get to see what happens when those ideas are communicated, first among the collaborators themselves, and then with us, in a one-time only unique interpretation of each piece. That's the nature of improvisatory jazz. Many colors come together to form a rainbow that is as lovely as it is evanescent. May this service remind us that a wealth of ideas, a diversity of creative vision, and a blending of perspectives, these things can come together to paint the canvas of our lives. Let us strive then to recognize and celebrate all the colors that contribute to our own unique vision.
We ring the gong 3 times, once for those who came before us and made a place for us. Once for those who are here now. And once for those who will come after us and build on the dream. The chalice lighting this morning is by Albert Schweitzer. At times, our own light goes out and is rekindled by the spark from another person. Each of us has cause to think with deep gratitude of those who have lighted the flame within us. Okay.
Welcome, friends. Whether you're a friend from way back or a friend I have yet to meet, here's something you may not know about me. I have second sight. Yep, I've had it since I was 8 years old. That's when I got my first pair of glasses. My family began to suspect that I might need glasses when they took me to a movie in a movie theater, and I kept complaining that I couldn't see the screen, even after I was allowed to sit up high on the back of the seat. The next day, one of my siblings helpfully stood across the room from me holding up a calendar and said, "Patty, what number am I pointing to on this calendar?" Calendar? So, I got to go to the eye doctor, which was an amazing adventure for my 8-year-old self. I remember a small, dark room, hardly more than a closet, really, and a machine that took up nearly all that space. The machine looked like a huge insect with bulging eyes, and when I put my face up to it and peered into those eyes, it was like seeing into this creature's brain, which was inexplicably filled with fuzzy black and white shapes. Insect dreams, I guess. Beside me, the doctor waved a magic wand, or maybe he just made some adjustments to the machine, and the fuzzy shapes began to morph into letters and numbers. It was quite a show, and it was far more interesting to me than the one in the movie theater that I couldn't quite see. This was a show just for me. After we were finished with the insect machine, the doctor took me into another small room, showed me a wall cabinet filled with eyeglass frames, and asked me which one I liked, for all the world as if I were a grown-up or something. I looked them over, and the choice was clear. The light purple ones with the pointy corners. Of course. That first pair of glasses gave me my second sight, and really opened up a whole new world to me. I could see the blackboard at school. I could read the back of a cereal box while eating the cereal. And maybe, playing hide and seek, I could actually find someone without having to stumble over them first. Everything looked different, new. But I'm not going to say better. It's true that my glasses brought my eyesight to something close to what the doctors call 20/20 vision. But you know what that means, right? It means that I could see at 20 feet away what the average person with unimpaired eyesight can see at 20 feet away. So what's so great about average? It's not perfect. I already had 8 years of experience in this world. I had already seen many wonders in my young life, and this new way of seeing didn't negate or supplant all that experience, but it did add to it. On summer nights throughout my childhood, I used to sleep out with my friend Sheila. We would unfurl our sleeping bags on my front lawn or on her back porch and lie on our backs gazing up at the night sky. Our small hometown had no light pollution to speak of, and being in California, rain clouds were not an issue. The night sky was studded with glittering stars, and on moonless nights, the Milky Way arced over us. It was stunning and awe-inspiring, and we would talk. I don't remember what we talked about, but it seemed important and meaningful at the time. Eventually, Sheila would drift off to sleep, and I would take off my glasses, fold them up, and carefully set them down within easy reach. Then I looked back up to see a sky that was magically transformed. The Milky Way had vanished, it's true, along with most of the glittering stars, but the stars that were left, the very brightest ones, spread their light outward into radiant halos. Each one of these coronas melted into its neighbors, so that the sky was filled with these puffs of light. It was another show just for me. I wanted to wake Sheila up and share the vision with her, but she couldn't see it the way I could. I felt sorry for Sheila, because she wasn't lucky enough to have second sight, like me. When I'm wearing my glasses, then I can see at 20 feet away what you average person with unimpaired eyesight, can see at 20 feet away. But does that mean that I see what you see? I think not. Chris and I were driving along a rural highway just over the border in Michigan when we passed an old farmhouse surrounded by, let me say, detritus, because that sounds nicer than piles of junk. I said, "Oh, look, a bug." And you can tell by my tone of voice that it wasn't the six-legged kind. It was the four-wheeled kind, a Volkswagen Beetle. Chris glanced over to where I was looking and then returned his gaze to the road since he was driving. That brief glimpse of the familiar shape made me think of my first car, a VW Bug that I had when I was in college. While I was picturing that car and reminiscing about the good old days, I realized that Chris was talking. He was saying something about four-lug wheels, and for a moment I thought, well, of course it has four wheels. But then I realized that he was talking about a specific characteristic of that very car, the old wreck that we had just passed at 55 miles per hour. He was seeing it in his mind's eye in much greater detail than I could manage, even if I still had it right in front of me. This might sound extraordinary to you unless you happen to have been ever walking in a residential neighborhood with Chris and passed a car in a driveway that was completely covered by a tarp. The car, not the driveway, completely covered by a tarp. "Huh," Chris will say, "it's a 62 Pontiac Seville." Or, "Oh look, a 32 Coupe," meaning a Model A, of course. It's a gift he has besides playing music. He has perfect car shape. Anyway, back to Michigan and that junky old VW Bug. That sight, while technically presenting the same stimulus to our visual cortexes, created a completely different image in each of our minds. What we saw meant something different to each of us. And if Chris were to tell you what he saw, and I were to tell you what I saw, you would have another vision entirely in your mind's eye. It's kind of like the old game of telephone, but with video. Like Zoom. Which of these images, which of these representations of reality is a truer vision? Is that true vision the same for me as it is for you? Could it be that any given stimulus to our visual cortex is only the beginning of seeing? Do you see what I mean? If you and I can read this eye chart down to the same line from 20 feet away, well, then we have the same glasses prescription. But if you and I are looking at literally anything else from 20 feet away, well, then it might be anybody's guess what each of us is seeing. Suppose that what we're looking at is, I don't know, my daughter. We might both recognize her. But do you see that quirk in her expression that tells you exactly what kind of day she's had? I don't know what you see, and you don't know what I see. And I don't believe that we can ever really see through the eyes of another person. That's just a figure of speech, seeing through their eyes. But it's a valuable metaphor, because in trying to see through their eyes, in recognizing another person's unique vision, we learn to see differently. From my father, I learned to see the good in people. From my mother, I learned to see beauty in the natural world. And lest you think that I inherited these gifts of vision through my DNA, I could tell you about all I've learned from my children, from my friends, from teachers, and from people I've never even met, but who have shared their vision, their way of seeing with me. I believe I can learn not what you see exactly, but how you see. Forget about second sight. I've got 100th sight, thanks to you. So even if the show before my eyes is just for me, even if I'm the only one who can see exactly this movie, the list of credits is long. Think of the many people who have shared their vision with you, who have taught you different ways of seeing. Second sight is just the beginning, and we all have it.
One, two, three.
Do you see what I see? Probably not. Do you see what I mean? Maybe. Do you see what you see? Almost certainly. As our time here together comes to a close, wherever and whenever that might be for you, let us go forth in peace. Let us go in gratitude for those who have shared their vision with us. Let us go in humility, recognizing the limitations of our own sight. Let us go in joy that we are on this journey together. Go in peace and in wonder and in awe of the visions before you. Go forth and share your light, not so that others might see what you see, but so that they might refine and expand their own unique visions. Go forth and learn new ways of seeing. Let someone give you the gift of second sight, and then bask in the glory of a sky filled with radiant halos. May the light of our combined vision shine on us all.